Hey everyone, welcome to another session of Conversations with Courageous Cancer Warriors. And I have to tell you, this guest that we are going to hear from today is one of my favorite people on the planet. She has 20 years of experience in producing and managing stellar events, and I've seen it firsthand. She's pretty fantastic. Please welcome Miss Liza Millan. Liza, how are you?
Hi, Lori. Thanks for having me here.
I am
I'm
so excited to talk
good.
to you today. How are you doing?
Oh my gosh, I've been really busy lately. Like I just finished a Women Who Boss Up Summit, a virtual summit, and then now I'm preparing for the next one. And I'm also like planning on some other programs and things that in my business. So it's been busy.
Yeah, so for those listening, so Ms. Lisa is the mastermind behind, if you've seen the Women Who Boss Up Productions, the summits, she is the woman behind the curtain. She makes everything go flawlessly and smoothly. And, all we need to do as presenters is to just show up. And so kudos to you and all that hard work, because I know it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. But, this past year, you've had your own circumstances,
Mhm.
even with all of the work going on. You've had some health issues and some things that you've really had to deal with.
Mhm.
And this show is all about, what life throws you some curveballs, and you try to make the best of them. So you want to tell us a little bit about what you've gone through and how you've dealt with it?
Yes. So in 2000, I would say end of 2019 and around September time, I actually started my company Masterpiece. And one of the reasons why I started that was because I ended all of my contracts and agreements because I was going into surgery in October or November. So that's when I had scheduled. So my surgery ended up happening in November, and I had a torn ACL and my meniscus was tearing. So to me, that was, I actually had to be in that mindset of, okay, well, do I get my surgery done now? So I actually like pushed it out because I didn't really want to have that break um, of getting surgery, but I felt that it was time and that I needed to do that. I need to take care of myself first. And so finally in November, I had that surgery. I had no idea that the recovery and how long it was going to take and how hard it was to actually, be in that state after surgery. And, even the first, I would say like first few weeks, even the month, not being able to walk. Um, it's a really different experience for me. I think
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know it was going to be like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people listening have gone through some form of surgery, and I think that you nailed it when it's like you don't know what to expect until you're right smack in the middle of it, and it,
Hmm.
it can be really daunting for your mindset. So, what did you find yourself doing to keep yourself positive? Because I know for me, like I feel like I went through a little bit of depression, not being able to
Hmm.
do the things that I love to do. So, what was that like for you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I know that I was going through a lot of emotions, and I know that I did get into a depressed state. But I think what really helped me during those times was I try to keep myself busy. That's one, and then I had the support of my boyfriend at the time, and then I also joined different communities and groups. And once a week at least, I met with them to really talk about whatever we want to talk about. And either they held me accountable, or or they would talk to me or ask me about like how I'm feeling. But during that time, a lot of deep past emotions actually did come up.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, it's just the craziest thing. It's almost like, that saying that you keep yourself busy just so you don't think. But then when you don't have the opportunity to keep yourself too busy, that's all you do. And especially
Yeah.
if you can't walk, that's the only form of exercise that
Yes.
you have is like mental gymnastics, right?
Yeah.
We could all definitely relate to how difficult that is now. And then recently, so then
Mhm.
you've gone ahead, you've healed yourself, you got back in
Mhm.
action where you're able to walk, you have this amazing business that you started, And then recently, you also then had a really unfortunate incident. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but
Yes.
it rattled your cage, literally. So is that something?
Yeah, it was actually in February, so just a few months ago. I was in a car accident. A drunk driver actually ended up hitting us, and it was pretty traumatic. I would say I had a mild concussion, and I'm still working through the pain because I have back pains now, which I didn't have before. So even when I'm washing dishes, I could probably only stand for like, I don't know, after 5 minutes, maybe like it'll start hurting. So I'm still recovering from that. But twice a week I see a chiropractor. I know that I have to start maybe starting with the exercises. I'm sure I need to do that. Actually looking into doing yoga, but maybe like slightly.
Mhm.
Um, like slow yoga maybe to start. But yeah, no, it actually did change a lot of how I do things too. I think that was more of a wake up call for me to really like slow down because
Yeah.
I was just either doing too much and, it wasn't really helping me.
And that's the thing, right? Like we always keep pushing our limits, and our
Mhm.
self-care goes out the window because it's like, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. And and it's not until you are forced to stop
Mhm.
you realize what you've been doing and the lack of what you've been doing, right? Like the things that you haven't said that you were going to do to take care of yourself. So what is one of the things that you've implemented in your new um, awakening?
I would say that, whenever something big or traumatic happens to me, what I've learned now lately was I do meditation.
Mhm.
I also pray. I think that's one thing, like before I go to sleep. And I would say also like just changing some of the routines and patterns that I do. I'm also learning to really like write things down. I think that's really important. And I would say recently, I was hoping for things to open up here in California because I really miss getting a massage. That's like the one thing. So I'm doing more self care. I would say. Because I feel like that's really important. So I'm also working with a new coach who's like helping me really um, take care of myself more. And I think that was probably like one thing, especially if you're really busy and you are a CEO or you own your own business, you usually like get so busy that you don't really have, or you probably leave time for yourself like later on. And I'm even bringing in started talking to a personal organizer
Oh,
who
I
can
love
help
that.
me like organize my whole house so that I can just have like more of a like this feeling of less stress and clear the energy around me.
Definitely. I cannot, oh, I cannot form a thought in my brain when I am surrounded by just a mess, like a clutter. It's the worst. And you fill up your brain when you fill up your
Mhm,
room, right? So that minimalism approach and just having everything organized is a great idea. I love that.
mhm.
Now, you are also part of the Women Who Boss Up series. Tell
Yes.
us a little bit about this book. So it's the third book in the series. So tell me.
Yes, it's the third book in the series, and it's the Asian women who boss up. So we talk about our different stories, what we've been through, some of what we face in corporate or in the workplace, and how some have thrived from having really that what do you call it? It's that saying of like the beliefs that they have growing up and like how parents are with in the Asian families when growing up. So we do, each of us have different stories, and I also talk about like my story and what I've been through and the transformation of going from like depression and then getting out of it, and then now being in a place where I was able to like start my business over again.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
wonderful. And you're right. Our upbringing forms, has us become the adults that we are. So what
Mhm.
would be one thing that you would like to have people know about you that might be a little unique for you and your family?
Let's see. Hmm. Well, I would say that so I grew up where on my dad's side of the family, they're you know, they're actually, I would say they're more of that they're all honors. You know, they finished, like, all graduated from college, and they're, you know, they're just, I wouldn't say like quiet. I would say that we're pretty mellow, and you know, they're very family oriented. And then it's complete opposite on my mom's side of the family. I would say that when I was growing up and I was living at my mom's house, and um it they always had parties every weekend. So
I love that.
I pretty much have the best of both worlds. So it's
I want to go hang out with your mom.
yeah, yeah, we used to I remember growing up, we used to always have parties every weekend. And I don't know, maybe that's, you know, to me that was normal because she always had, you know, so many guests, and we had so many people coming into my mom's house. And they would party until maybe like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and we're just
Wow.
like dancing, singing, just having a great time, eating a lot of food. And um I don't know, and maybe that's probably why I'm like planning parties now and like planning
That's
events, but
That's what I was going to say. That's why you're such an amazing, your hospitality is fantastic. Oh, I love that. I love that. Now, what would be something that you would, what advice would you give to anyone who is in a tough space right now?
I would say that anyone who's in a tough space, um, so what they're going through at the moment and how they're feeling is during that time when they're feeling that, it may be like the end of the world, or you know, they're probably everything is like falling apart. But just know that one, at the end of it, like when they get out of like whatever it is that they're feeling or what they're going through, that there's always like something better on the other end.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's so true, right? Like there's always that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? Like
Hmm.
there's
Yeah.
always something to look forward to. I love that. I love that. And especially coming from you because you have been through so much. And for
Yes.
you to just still stand here and be like, you know what, you'll get through it and you'll do it beautifully. I love that. I love that. Now,
I would say that you actually come out stronger after.
yeah,
Yeah.
right?
And I think it's what you do with it and what lesson you've learned from that experience is really what's going to make you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you're a great example of that.
Thank you.
So how, let me think. We went through your event planning, we went through just everything you have going on. What's up next for you? Like, are you, COVID has been really difficult for you in
Mhm.
event planning. So what do you have up your sleeve that that you'd want to share with people?
Well, the live events it's slowly starting to lift up. There are still a lot of safety regulations and rules that you need to follow. So currently I'm staying away from that until things are more back to normal. I feel that like an event or a party isn't a party if you have to follow so many rules.
Right.
It's not
Right.
fun. So I am focusing currently with virtual events and virtual summits, and I'm bringing something to the table that's completely like out of the box and really giving that experience of in-person or in-person or live person events where they can actually feel that experience virtually or online.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that because I think all of us are really missing community. And like you
Hmm.
said, like I live in Florida and things
Yeah.
are open, but we still don't have our live music, right? There's a little
Mhm.
bit, but it's not, the concerts aren't here yet.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful because I did see some advertisements about some festivals coming up,
Nice.
but then at
Uh-huh.
the same time too, you're like, well, how safe is it going to be? Like, what is that going to look like? And you're right, the restrictions. So I love the fact that you've been able to really embrace the online community and doing these summits where we feel that we're still a part of it and we're still all together. So
Mhm.
um, I would love to have people find you. So where can people go to find some information about you?
They can go to my website. It's masterpieceLM.com. And I'm also giving away a free virtual event toolkit. So if you want to know the steps and you need that guide to help you host or plan your virtual event, give away that free toolkit. And I'll go ahead and send that information to Lori so that you can visit the website and then you can grab your free copy there. And also, my book is coming out soon. So I'm taking pre-orders for the Asian Woman Who Boss Up Summit. So I would love for you to read my story and learn more about like what I have to say with my transformation.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'll make sure to provide all the links in the notes of the show. And Lisa, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And
Mhm.
I'm so excited to see what you're up to in the next few months. And I'm glad that you're doing okay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for being here.